Welcome to IAS Market Talk, your trusted source for timely ag market insights, brought to you by Innovative Ag Services. Each week, we break down the latest beef market trends impacting Northeast Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, with expert updates tailored specifically for our IAS members. This week, you'll hear directly from Dave Reber, IAS Beef Production Specialist, who brings decades of experience and deep knowledge of the cattle industry to these conversations. Dave has been providing market updates to producers for years, and now he's bringing those insights straight to you through this podcast. Tune in weekly for what you need to know straight from people you know. With that, here's Dave Reber with the latest on what's happening in the cattle markets this week.
David Reber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag Services, calling with a beef market commentary for Wednesday, January 7th. Getting a lot of mixed messages this week on markets. Well, no mixed messages on feeder cattle prices. They're just a rocket ship working higher, which we've talked about before. That first week in January, pent-up demand, just always see feeder cattle work higher that first week. And we're seeing some record high feeder cattle price again. 8-weight steers, $360 or higher. 7-weight steers in the high 300s. 5 weights, $5 a pound. I mean, just numbers that kind of blow your mind. Break evens on some of those yearlings, you're 240 or higher on those cattle. So you got a break even that's not very far away from the all-time record high fat cattle price. So those kind of numbers concern me a little bit. That's some figures that could cause some problems because they're not hedgeable. So that means people won't do anything, which means you got nothing protecting your downside. You sell those cattle for $220, you could lose, $400 or $500 a head. So yeah, there's certainly some risk on some of these high priced feeder cattle getting bought now. A lot of times we'll see some of that feeder cattle seasonality. They'll soften in price the third week in January. So keep an eye on that. The mixed message thing is on this fat cattle market. We've got, last week we sold cattle for either side of $232, which would have been $2 to $3 higher than 2 weeks ago. Box beef prices, that's the main thing we got to keep an eye on. We just cannot get those boxes to take off. They've worked up a little bit today, but this is that time of year when you see seasonal rallies in boxes. We need to see choice boxes up $15, and they are not working that way yet. So, you got packer margins that are horrible, minus $250 a head. They're in no mood to pay another $5 higher for fat cattle when they're already losing money. So yeah, kind of tough stuff. Some people get concerned in January, get some of these credit card bills for the consumers that then, you maybe see a little back off in demand for beef. So that's kind of coming into play there as well. Another little tidbit of information came out. Mexico, one of our top 5 export markets there, they went to 0 tariffs on beef coming out of Brazil, so they're going to start bringing in more Brazilian beef into Mexico. We've already got kind of a tough export market. Not a big deal just because, we don't have enough beef to send a lot out on the export market anyway. But when you cheapen prices in Mexico, it cheapens prices regionally as well. So something else you got going on there. Cost of gains keep inching higher. That corn market keeps putting on 5 cents here, 3 cents there. Cost of gains $1 higher. It takes pretty good animal to feed under $1 right now. You got wet feed kind of working a little bit higher too. Hay prices stabilized here, but there's something to kind of watch there. Like I said, break evens on a lot of these cattle they're getting bought right now, close to 240 or higher, and that's a red flag for this guy. So keep an eye on things. Board was down a couple bucks today. It's a little bit of a nervous tone to this thing, but probably going to see cash cattle a little bit higher this week. That's back to that mixed message theme. So kind of nothing's really traded yet. Kind of thinking that 234, give or take a little bit. Watch what that futures market does tomorrow and continue to watch what choice boxes do. That'll indicate kind of what kind of rally we can get going on this thing. Once again, my name is David Reber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag. Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode of IAS Market Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an update. And if you know a fellow producer who could benefit from this information, share this episode with them. For more updates and insights, visit innovativeag.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll catch you next time on IAS Market Talk.
Are you ready for a hands-on role with purpose? Join the facility operations team at Innovative Ag Services, where we value hard work, safety, and community. With locations across Northeast and Central Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, we offer industry-leading benefits, on-the-job training, and a culture that supports your growth. From competitive pay to a uniform allowance, we invest in our team. Grow with IAS and discover your co-opportunity. Apply today at innovativeag.com.